Warning. I'm recording this the day before the No Kings March, which is going to be impressive across the country. They're planning 2,500 organizations meeting up in every single state. We expect millions to march tomorrow. So let me say something about democracy. Let me tell you that the Constitution lives, not in the hands of the new justices, no. They're looking at the Constitution as an originalist document, and they're saying what would have happened in 1854. And that's all they care about, is events from the beginning of the Constitution to civil rights. Well, it nullifies a lot of what we've accomplished in the last 250 years. So when we say we're marching for democracy, we're marching for freedom, freedom of expression. We're marching for a good economy. We're marching for a restoration of our health care rights. We're marching for renewable energy, for federal employees who have been let go without warning for no reason, for early warning systems that would have protected Alaska from flooding and loss of life and homes. The Constitution lives. It lives if the Supreme Court and the Congress are checks and balances on the executive. It's not living now, but when you say democracy, and when you say you want life, liberty, and happiness for all, that means everyone. Not the billionaires only, but all of us. And when you close off our borders so that we are now isolated from the rest of the world, that's not helping our economy. When we have tariffs that are raising the prices for consumers, that's not helping our democracy. Our Constitution lives. It lives in each and every one of us, because the funds that are allocated by our tax dollars, they go to institutions that are important to us. A free press, universities that are world class, education for everyone, so that everyone reads above 12th grade level and understands. And immigrants? We're all immigrants unless you're Native Americans. They weren't immigrants. But what are we doing? We're treating everyone as if they're the enemy. And Trump is trying to divide us even farther. Don't let it happen. That's why we're marching on No King's Day. That's why we're fighting Trump's executive orders in the lower courts. Unfortunately, when it hits the higher court, they're looking at our documents and our rights on an originalist basis. It has no basis at all. As far as I'm concerned, these justices who espouse originalism, they're not talking about you and me in the 21st century. No, sirree. They're going back to the 1700s and 1854, before we had the 14th Amendment, before we had rights for citizens, before we even had voting rights, for Pete's sake. Our Constitution is alive, and it maintains the welfare of every average citizen. Don't let Trump divide us. That's why we march. That's why we care about democracy. That's why we care about the Constitution. And now I want to say, when I am running as a write-in candidate, sure, I'm doing it for me, and I would love to be mayor of New York City. I'm qualified. I've managed a lot of people and solved a lot of problems, and I'm a biochemist. And I want to say that I am thankful for everyone who's taken my card and said that they will give it out to others so that others would write my name in, Joyce Silver. I'll have my card here on the podcast, and I'll campaign and continue. But really, I'm running, A, to see if an independent can run without an organization, though I think it would be good to have an organization and start running a lot earlier so that you have more days in the field. And I gotta say that talking to people is the best medicine I've ever had. It is a high for me to talk to everyone I'm speaking to. And I am going to continue. And we'll see what happens. So next week is the beginning of early voting in New York. We'll see if anyone writes my name in, Joyce Silver. But I'm happy to give out cards, and I will do it through Election Day. And I hope you'll help me, because our Constitution lives. We can have laws, and the laws are for we the people to pursue life, liberty, and happiness.